It's showtime.
Okay guys, welcome back. Sorry Rapid, I should have said something
Oh,
before I came
man.
back.
Hicks, why you do me this way?
Every
Oh,
single time.
it's 6 a.m. over here, okay? Like, give me a
Yeah.
break.
Okay, so we're gonna be heading into our...
Why
Oh,
why do I
sorry.
put up with this? This
I,
abusive casting relationship, Kicks.
I don't know, but we're gonna be heading into our third game. It's gonna be a pretty cool game. I'd say if we're gonna have a quick game, it's gonna be this one, because it's going to be between two of the more aggressive players for their respective teams. And it's going to be a ZVZ as well, so just going to bring up the overlay to introduce both our players. Okay, for White Clan we're going to have Spy. Now Spy has played, according to the overlay, which seems to be a bit buggy recently, one ZVZ in the STPL so far, and he has won it, so that's going to be a little bit of a benefit for him. Pretty aggressive Zerg player overall, not one of White Clan's mainstays, hasn't played in all the rounds. I think he actually joined their roster as such for round 2. Played a couple of games, or played a single game there. And he's back again in round 3 to fill in. And he's going to be up against NaS's eOnzerG. Now eOnzerG are very, very strong Zerg. I'm fairly certain he's definitely not 0-2 against Zerg. So I'm going to have to fix the overlay after this. But he did go 3 for 1 last round. And did win his round 1 game, or sorry, his week 1 game in round 3. Now they're going to be on Shin Peaks of Baekdu.
Yeah, another trip to this map. Very happy to see it again. Obviously, one of my favorite maps, so super excited. But more importantly, I just want to see what each and every day these White Clan members bring out. I never know what to expect. They're crazy good, and yeah, I think it could absolutely be a really strong start for NaS if eOnzerG, one of, if not their strongest player, can take out another member of White Clan.
Yep, so let's head on into the game. It's White Spy versus NaS eOnzerG. And let's head into the game. Okay, so spawning us off in the top right hand position, we do have in the red fighting for white, it's gonna be Spy.
Yep, and his opponent in the green. This is NaS's eOnzerG.
Now, I did mention this to you in the break, but just to mention it to everyone else as well, like, we've had this thing recently where we said, like, 6 minutes is kind of like the time when a lot of games end. That seems to be when sort of a lot of the all-into, a lot of the games of the STPL have sort of come to a sudden conclusion at that time. And I think if there's a game that will do that, it's going to be this one. Now, this is obviously a very old school map. It doesn't really affect ZVZ too much because the ground features don't really come into play all that often. But it's likely we're going to see a lot of lings coming in from both players. But we could even see a 12 hatch coming from one of them. I mean, we don't actually see any overlords being built right now. So it's going to be a 9 pool for both, sorry.
Okay, alright. Everything is as it should be. 9 pools. I think basically if you don't open up 9 pool, especially if it's like a best of 3 series, I feel like game 1 should always be a 9 pool, because like that's the figure your opponent out kind of build. I mean, maybe you don't go gas, or maybe you try, maybe that's the variation, but I keep seeing these 12 pools first, or like 12 hatches against like 6 or 7 pools. And I'm just like, it's just a little bit rough. But to highlight exactly what's going on here, you're right. We see exactly the same build on both sides, down to the pixel. It is just going to be about the most even way to start the game. But you don't have to keep it this way, right? There can be a player that transitions more quickly to another hatchery, or just tries to rush Spire by squeezing out as few Zerglings as possible.
Yeah, now one kind of funny thing is, apparently you're dropping from the replay, but that's not the funny thing. We actually saw that
Wait, what?
eOnzerG started mining his gas a little bit quicker. So for a very small period of time, we actually saw Spy with a mineral advantage, but it looks like it stopped dropping you now, so I don't really know what happened there, but it's all good.
How can I drop from a replay? I own the file on my PC, Kicks.
It's because we
I
lose
guess
connection, I guess, so...
right. We're syncing. It's complicated. If the people programming the server architecture heard me speak so ignorantly about it, they would just like cringe and roll around in their seats or whatever. But yeah, I understand. It's difficult, the technology, right? But okay, we're back. We're watching the Zerglings run across eOnzerG. Yeah, no way he's making it up that ramp.
Yeah, he's going to set up a sort of soft contain at the bottom of the ramp. It's kind of like a Mexican standoff here, as neither player can really make moves downwards. Now, there are cool little moves you can do that I've definitely seen eOnzerG do before, where you kind of send a single ling up at a time to try and punch a hole in the wall. But he doesn't really have the Zergling number to even do that. So the one kind of funny thing I always find with ZVZ as well is, at least for the first like 5 minutes, you kind of have perfect information on each other as well, so
Yeah.
it's just really hard to do anything surprising. And I
Yeah,
mean,
the only way that you would be able to kind of leverage that is if you like had a secret expansion somewhere or doing something like really weird. So yeah, definitely don't have to worry about that.
you know, one thing that I can say about this game is eOnzerG is actually slightly ahead. He does have less lings, but the reason why he's ahead is all of his buildings have come up a little bit quicker than Spies have. Now, even though it doesn't seem like much at the like very highest level, especially in a ZV or just in any mirror matchup, like milliseconds can come down to the difference between winning and losing. And I mean, when you look at back when Nada was at the peak of his time, like no Terran could seem to keep up with him. He'd always be slightly further ahead, and that's because he discovered mineral boosting and was using that in every single one of his games, and no one else was. So, I mean, it's not quite like that now, but we've got eOnzerG saving up, going to be building an extra hatchery at his natural, when the hatchery is going to be going up in the main for Spy.
Yeah, so I guess there's those subtle differences. The ability to squeeze out an extra drone in ZVZ like just baffles me. I will never understand that. So let's see, there's 8+3, and then there is 9+3. So that's exactly what we see here. Spy just has squeezed out an extra drone.
Yeah, but he's actually a little bit further back in supply. Obviously, eOnzerG is starting building his Mutas a little bit quicker. And it looks like eOnzerG is going to be going for Mutas straight away. Spy is actually doing the same as well. Recently, I've been seeing a lot more ZVZs where the player-ups open like Scourge first, but looks like both of them feel pretty evenly matched here. Going to be going immediately into those Mutalisks. Eon's practicing his micro against his own lings to try and get some supply.
Yeah, that feel when your Overlord just doesn't pop in time. Knew he needed it, and that's obviously a little bit, yeah, that definitely sucks. Damn.
It does suck he's still actually not got an Overlord coming in, but I guess in a way, it allows him to squeeze out his A units a little bit quicker. It's going to allow him to get the extra drone to get the extractor as well. So,
okay,
maybe there's a reason behind this. Like, it feels a bit weird to say that, but it's going to be 4 Mutalisks against 6 Mutas, so... Oh, he's going to lose an Overlord, though. That's not somebody he wants to be losing.
I mean, it's just a straight-up win for eOnzerG, right? Oh, he doesn't micro against the Scourge at all. That sucks, but he still has such a huge Muta advantage. It's like 1 or 2 at least. And yeah,
and now he has
eOnzerG crushes
5 Muta advantage, yeah. Looks like killing those lings actually really did help him. He's up against 6... Well, he's up to 6 Mutas, would be 7 if he didn't lose that one to Scourge, and we don't actually have any Mutalists left back at home for Spy at all. He's actually trying to drone up a little bit behind this, and the counter coming in from eOnzerG here could be very strong when he chooses to go for it.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised he didn't choose to go for it. 5 or 6 Mutas is insane. Like, these are 1-base Zergs. Like, they're not going to... You're not going to have the ability to reproduce that much. I mean, obviously they have macro hatch, or Spy has a macro hatch, but Eon's mining on his. So if he can just defend these gas drones, he'll just win the Muta battle for the rest of the game.
Yeah, now the one interesting thing I just realized, and I don't think I've ever actually noticed before, is Simpeaks Baekdu actually has 2k gas on the natural, but GG! Spy knows he can't do anything, and eOnzerG is going to take NaS up to a 2-0 lead. against White.
Yeah, that's what happened when Mind and Best are busy. Yeah, you put in the B team, and NaS, to their credit, are taking them out one by one. So now 2 up over White. Maybe it wasn't last season, but round one, I think White only had one loss, and
Yeah.
it's just kind of surprising to see maybe even this early on in season three or round three, they might be given their second loss here if NaS can take one more game.
Yeah, so White actually did lose a game last round as well. So in round one, they lost to YRK. In round two, I
Mm.
believe. Wait, did they lose? I think they
Well, it
did
was Red.
lose.
They lost to Red,
Yeah, they
right?
lost to Red. Red beat everybody, and then obviously lost in the semifinals, unfortunately.
Mm.
But still a crazy job. And I mean, White not having the best season. They actually went to an ace match against Bull as well. So
Yeah.
maybe they're maybe Gyro's kind of like playing around with his rosters a little bit. We're seeing a
Mm.
lot more players that we didn't see before. But certainly there'll be a plan in this for him. But NaS have come out strong in season two, and oh sorry, in round three. Even I'm getting way ahead of myself here. But that's going to take us into the third game, which we'll be going into when we get back from this.